So, good evening and welcome to Nonnas Milan San Remo week on the Donny Chaingang. We are really looking forward to this. Well, I say we, I am. I'm in the studio. My name's Matt Payne, bringing you all of the action on our week that is sponsored by The Place that has looked after cyclists for so long. Based on Exfield Road, Nonnas is legendary in cycling circles in Sheffield and beyond. And gotta say, if it's good enough for Sylvester Stallone, it's good enough for me to eat there, to be honest. And I might not have been a contender. He definitely was, and he was there. And it is a favourite haunt with everybody from Annie Last right the way through to Russ and Ben Swift and all of the real top flight riders, as well as humble souls on the DCG who have a habit of going there. And the guys at Nonnas have really looked after people over the weeks, over the months on the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. And they're the guys who keep the show on the road. Now, we've got some Milan San Remo themed routes. Stefano, the manager, is Stefano over in Italy at the moment. So, ciao Stefano. He's over in Italy watching live at the moment and going to be out there for the Milan San Remo to go see the racing in real life at the end of the week. So really looking forward to seeing how we can manage to match that with our routes. We've done some little bit of careful picking of the routes. It's two brand new routes this week. Now, we are going to be led there by Jimmy Allen, who is standing in for Russ, whilst Russ is still on paternity leave from the Chaingang. And the good news is Littleton's back home and all is well and everything is looking good. And Russ settling into family life at the moment. So Jimmy will be charged with keeping everyone together. Before we go to Jimmy and before we go to the routes, we're going to go and give away something rather special. Now, we said that Nonnas has supported the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the DCG gang, repeatedly. So it is really going to be interesting to see just how the gang respond when they are offered £75 voucher. So the DCG gang getting a £75 voucher from the guys at Nonnas. So that is a meal for two plus some food, and it's going to be interesting to see who gets that. Now, how this works, if you're a member of the DCG gang, you've supported the Chain Gang, you've donated to the gang, then basically your name is going to be up on the spreadsheet, which is just over there. You can see it's just popped up. My face just lighting up a little bit more. And the random number generator, which is even brighter still, as you can see. So they're popped up onto the screens now. We go, number 1 is A for Alistair, and right at the end, 77 is for down on the W. So Wayne and Waterfield down on 76, 77s. The random number generator, well, here it comes. This will stop. When we press the stop button, randomly it will stop on a number. Whoever's that number is, they will be in. And, of course, both Maurizio and Stefano from Nonnas, not eligible for this to win their meal at their own place. They get to eat there all the time. But I have to say, it's absolutely awesome. Now, let's have a look at the gang. It looks like plenty of people landing down in there. So let's get this pressed without any undue delay. I'm going to close my eyes. I can't see the screens over there at all. And it is going to be Steve Cannon, who is our winner. Number 66 is Steve Cannon. He is our winner today on the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. So well done to Steve. And going to be looking forward to seeing Steve, who's our winner today. So Steve Cannon, winning today. Well done, mate. And enjoy your time down there. Now, if you were wondering what we're going to do, if the riders can't make it to the restaurant, well, guess what? Nonnas have an online store as well. So the very finest Italian foods direct to your door. How easy could it be? Make sure you go on there, support the people who support the Donny Chain Gang. And don't forget, we'll have another great giveaway on Thursday. So let's first of all head over to Jimmy. Jimmy is currently, hopefully, on the end of a phone line somewhere. The man that is the wolf, known for his tactics of dropping people in at the last minute as the long goes, the random goes. Let's see how we are going. So, Jimmy, how are you doing? It was a little bit special, this one. We thought we'd try and get something that replicated Milan San Remo, really long route. And we've got a little bump at the start, then a long flat section, and then some hills at the finish to finish off with as well, including a bit of a kicker at the end with that hilly KOM, and that's going to be tough stuff for our riders. I think it means that our red beacon is going to be working hard very early. And got to say a big thank you, haven't we, to the man who stepped in, Craig Genther. It is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's one of those routes where I must admit, I spend far too much time probably on Zwift, and looking at the long routes and working where we can cut them to fit in and where the finishes are. Nearly did a King of the Mountains finish, but we decided to go that little bit longer to the end because just like on Milan San Remo, if somebody can get over the top and get a little bit of a gap, they could hold it to the finish, and that's really the same as the Poggio or the Cipressa. You've got to, if you get that gap split, the group split, you could hold on. It is possible, and we've seen it done, but there's enough room for groups to chase back. So I think the pointy end could be very pointy indeed today. It will be a good ride. We'll have to see if people can achieve that because that is going to be really, really tough stuff. So let's see how that goes on, and we'll see just how the how that plays out. So let's see how we get on, and we will head across. Cheers, Jimmy. So just heading across to whatever Gran Fondo, going to be on the Gran Fondo route. It is a 97k route normally. We have cut this down much, much shorter, and it basically gives us a very fast racing route. Our riders heading into the final few seconds are soon going to run out and get moving. So we'll dive back in with Jimmy fairly shortly once we're on the run. He's our yellow beacon. Our red beacon is Craig Genther. And don't forget, as we head out today, we are going to head out. We've got point 2 down onto the course proper. We do one partial lap. So we go out past the volcano first of all. We come down and round towards the King of the Mountains bypass. We then go out and round to the right-hand side on the map, out and back on Fuego Flats. We then come back round and climb up the KOM. You can see that the red section at the top before dropping back down, turning right before the sprint and in through the S's into finish at the Orange Arch where we're going through. One full lap of the circuit. It is going to be really, really tough for our riders. Let's translate that from the Zwift Hacks map, and just a little bit of alterations you can probably tell on there from the original Zwift Hacks map to just cover the route that we're using today. Across to our fellow viewer profile for the Gran Fondo Nonnas, and this section here shows you we have basically the first 9k nice and steady. We then come in to the first kicker. That is at the 10k, and this really does replicate the back end of the Milan San Remo route because we have a really big hill to kick off with. So the last half of the Milan San Remo really like this. You've got the big kick of the Giova climber. That is a real tough col to Giova. You go over that, and that is where we're going up onto the side of the epic KOM. We then go around the bypass, and that's the plateau section at the top before dropping down at 15k. We then head out on some more flatlands. We get a fair amount of distance in, and then when we get to 35k, you can just see we're going to go back over the start of Titan's Grove before dropping back into the tunnels, and between 37 and 40k we're down underneath the sea, but then we come in and it's that really rapid climb that goes from 40k to about 41.7k, and that is the climb up the very steep section going up on to the top of the hilly KOM. We then come down off the hilly KOM. It's a long descent, and then another kicker at 45k. And that 45k kicker is the climb out from the sprint bridges, and then we go through the S's from 45k all the way in to the finish. So key tonight for our riders is going to be making sure they get that absolutely dialed. Our riders have started here on Nonnas Milan San Remo week. We've already got our first winner as well, and that is on the Nonnas giveaway. Let's head across to the ride. Our riders out from the pens. And just taking a little bit of a look across, I think looks to me like pretty much everybody rolling along out from those pens. Okay, we're just going to take a quick check. I think the riders are just starting to make their way in towards the back of the group. I think Kieran Smith and Wharfdale Phil potentially being the in amongst those last riders out on the course, just coming into the tunnel. So let's dive in now on the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. So our riders up on to the bridge here. Remember, you need to make sure that you stay off the front. Jimmy is, of course, the man who has been in charge whenever we have Russ otherwise occupied, and Russ definitely otherwise occupied tonight. Seen one or two people just joining in late. Join us. Looks like Kieran just jumping on. Come on, Kieran, squeeze on, mate. So Kieran Smith still got to jump on. Stevie G just getting in here. And the gang just heading the way out from the tunnels. This, of course, Nonnas week. And, of course, got to say, there really is the classic, absolutely classic Milan San Remo. I really love the way it builds to that crescendo at the end. And that is what we're going to see as we come in towards the end of this route. The key is to keep everybody moving together here. And you can just see Ted in here. Looks like Tom Hagger in here. Mr. Barris joined us as well. Our red beacon, it's the one and only Craig Genther. Craig stepping in at lastminute.com to do this route is the red beacon. And you can just see the red beacon and the yellow beacons, of course, are going to be here. And everyone can see those. It's quite a busy chain gang, but should be okay. So just looks like Kieran just drifted off the back on his own at the moment. He's one man who we know can get himself back in. So at the moment, just Sonia and Richie Woodall just squeezed onto the back. So Mr. Woodall, one of the people who we know is going to be in at the kill, in at the finish. Trademark beard and orange jersey in there. Sonia, super sprinter, super strong sprinter Sonia. Well, this could be a day if she can get over the top of the hilly KOM to put that power down. In fact, it is a bit of a sprint hill, the hilly KOM. So our riders going out, they're going to go around the volcano perimeter first and foremost. So they're going to head down, out and around the base, going out on towards the Italian villas and in towards the sprint area before heading up. And at the moment, that gang is looking pretty smooth at the moment. I think pretty much everybody's staying together. I think everybody knows it's a long old way through. Remember, this route is 50k in total. So it looks like everybody heading out and moving smoothly. We are going to try and just grab hold of Jimmy and just get his thoughts on a few people just messaging and saying they missed Jimmy on the way through, so not quite sure what happened there. So let's have a quick catch up with Jimmy if we can. The famous ringing phone line of death, which means that we hopefully everybody's getting that, which means that they're going to be able to see it. So it looks like Jimmy busy with Simon Warren at the moment, fellow author, of course. You know that if he doesn't pick up in 7 rings, he's in trouble.
Hello.
Hello, Jimmy. Now, so I know a number of people were saying that they couldn't hear you at the start, so I'm not going to try and recap everything that we said in the first chat for those people that missed it. But new, busy, and tough route, I think, for people today, but a great start, and that's what it's going to need, isn't it, heading out on this circuit, because it isn't easy for people to get back on.
Yeah, it's a great start so far. I mean, I've had to look at the screen, and it's all just running like clockwork. But yeah, we're going to head over to that terrace road now, aren't we? So that's where it's going to be a bit tricky to keep everybody together there. But yeah, we'll always regroup on the other side as always. Had a few people stepping out of line. We've got Mr. Warren trying it on. early doors. So I'll tell him to see me after the race.
Maybe.
We'll have to discuss his antics.
Well, you could always
so,
mark him on his literacy work as well. Whilst you're at it. I mean, because I did hear once a vicious rumour that you did actually write a book once upon a time.
One or two, yeah.
Yeah.
I told him I keep joking. He's a quiet boy compared to me.
Indeed. So the gang are moving pretty smoothly. It looks like the group holding it together well. Let's have a little bit of a check. Yeah, looks all pretty good through the gang. So just a reminder for the riders, we're going to finish back at the archway, aren't we, at the downtown lap banner, which we went through almost immediately as we jumped on.
Yeah, I've got to see a few messages on screen that can't hear me again, but I'll carry on. Yeah, so we'll go over the KOM, short, sharp KOM, and then over the S's and finish at the downtown orange banner. So that'll be a great finish. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, the good news is that it's coming on and out. It must be. I think there are a few issues with YouTube today, but hopefully it's all recorded on the way through. We're going to finish back down there. We'll see how it holds together because, of course, the next hard thing, the really difficult one you just mentioned, it is a climb up to the KOM bypass. So effectively, we're going to head in towards the sprint, and we can actually just turn right just before the bridge that we just saw in the distance there. So we actually come up through the villa side here, and then just at the bridges we take a right-hand turn and then go back over towards the towards the KOM climb, and that is going to be where things get difficult because there is some really nasty 15-16% slopes on there. So it's going to be about keeping control and keeping your powder dry. It's still a long, long way, and any pros ridden the Milan San Remo will tell you you don't burn energy anywhere you don't need to on a long route.
That's right, yeah. Well, I think, it's inevitable there'll be a few gaps and things, but as long as people keep to the, the 2 to 2.5 watts per kilo, stay around yellow, don't chase the front, we'll regroup at the bottom. I'm sure we will, and it'll not be too difficult. It's like I say at the moment, I'm just ticking along. My heart rate is below 100. I feel like Russ. Usually I'm like, when Russ is like 90, I'm about 130. So yeah, that's an indication that so far so good.
Yeah, and of course, being Yellow Beacon, it's not just dependent on how hard you work it; it's also dependent on how stressed out you are with everybody. So it's a really good sign. All the talking's clearly had an effect. Though you're going up the hill now, 107.
Yeah, it's going up.
Right, in that case, we'll let you concentrate on leading. Cheers, Jimmy. We'll catch up with you later on. Hopefully, probably somewhere on those Fuego flats. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. Catch you later.
So good to catch up with Jimmy Allen there, and now we're just keeping a check. Dale Williams just saying he was in by the 6 o'clock marker time. Well, I'm not so sure that's the case. It looks like the gang all tucked in together nice and smoothly. So 1 or 2 people just stretching as it comes up here. It'll all come together as we go in towards the turns. You can just see our beacons at the back, just keeping an eye on everybody as we make our way up through. Just see the volcano in the distance and the epic KOM behind it. And we're actually going to go across the bypass in a minute. It's going to be an entertaining route. So essentially now our run in is in towards the villas. And then we go towards through the green sprint banner and take an immediate right-hand turn, followed by a right-hand turn back. And we're actually going to come out just to the right of the village at the moment. But just coming down past People's Pizza Palace, a establishment, a satellite maybe of Nonnas if it's good enough. I'm not sure whether it'll meet up to the Italian standards of Nonnas, but we'll see. So the gang coming through the Italian village, very appropriate as we are on the Milan San Remo week, and the group working well. So in and through the tunnels we go, and you can just see the group pretty much holding together. It's not a time to be expending too much energy. Anybody going for the sprint must be feeling a bit on the silly side. You're going to need that energy much later. This is about getting those legs warmed up, making sure that you save energy by the time you get in to the finish. As you can just see, the gang are working the way around these turns. They're going to take the right-hand turn when they get to the edge. You can just see that leading group, just the pack just fracturing a little, but plenty of fastest times already from the group as it heads down and round. It's going to take another right-hand turn at the second of our bridges. And you're going to do this road in the opposite direction as we're coming down in towards the finish. That's going to be in a lot of K's at time. I'm all fueled up with Gran coffee. I've got a double espresso, so a quadruple effectively, so that's going to keep me going on the way through. And a full bottle of OTE. Gone for the larger OTE bottles this time around just to make sure that got enough fuel on board. And our riders now just making the way out from the second of the bridges, and they're going to take the left-hand fork, which will drop them down in towards those tunnels. You can just see at the moment that our red beacon Craig Genther just keeping an eye on where everybody is as they start to make the way in around those turns. And it's going to come over what is known as a fold in the map and draw up down, so we'll stay off the time gaps at the moment because that's not going to be accurate. So you can just see starting to make the way down onto the descent. They're going to go down in towards the marina. Once it gets to the marina, it's going to be a right-hand turn. They're going to go past the seaplane, past the flying boat, and then go up onto the big climbers as they're going up onto the Epic KOM. And you can just see the tower up to the top right-hand side of the screen there. And that was the very top of the Epic KOM. We're not going anywhere near that high, but we are traversing across below the snow line, going right to left directly underneath those mountains before we drop back in and round. And that is going to make a big difference to this pack now. It's still going to be about control. It's going to be about holding this group together. So the group on the descent at the moment. And as we just ride in with them, certainly looking pretty smooth as they come in and through. And the helicopter shot there just showing the main group together. One or two riders just off the back of the pack as they start to make their way down. We'll drop some stats in just in with young Tom Lindley. Now we're going to head down in and take the left-hand turn to go over the bridge, and then we're going to be coming all the way back to where it shows just in front of that map, around that big U-turn, then take that right-hand turn. So it looks like chopping in here as well. Vin Donahoe here, great ride on last Thursday. He's absolutely flying. Good to see him in action. Mr. Forrester in here as well. Keyworth in the group, Isaac Oliver with us. It looks like Matt Gilmore now could be a hot favourite for today to rip the gang apart on the climbs up in. So the finale as they come in is going to be really interesting because that final run in, we'll get to it in more detail later, but it's going to be really interesting to see who's got that. Matt Gilmore could be the man because we climb out the tunnels, we've got a little ramp out, then it's a long drag into the KOM, then we go up the hilly KOM, then off the top of the hilly KOM we drop down the far side. And when we do that, we're then going to be into the S's over the bridge, and that's going to make a huge difference as we come over those S's and back in. A solo rider's going to have a hard time staying clear of everybody else in there now. Looks like Tracy Seeley in this gang, just seen that rougher jersey going through. Most of this gang all working well, just the red beacon, just keeping hold of everybody who are tucked into the group. Key here, stay with the group, don't work too hard. We are soon going to be heading up on to the climb. You see the dust being kicked up at the moment. The man just sitting on the back of the pack at the moment. I think just seen Neil from the cross-class, she's just rolling fairly near the back of that pack. So just keeping an eye on those numbers as we go around. But again, we're coming to another one of these joins where we move across from one side to another. And just going to go try and jump in with Neil. It looks like Neil with just having to pick up pace once again. So issues for Neil. So going to be really interesting. Going to have to go up on to the top. So is it going to be a breakaway for Tom Lindley? Neil now on this chase back. He's got plenty of time to get back because our riders, well, you can see the seaplane on the left, the flying boat on the right. And the zigzag climb in front, and the road actually traverses across. You can just about make it out in the distance on your screen. So going horizontally from the mound in front across to the left. It's a rolling road now. Neil motoring his way back on here. Craig Gensler's going to get a bit of a workout as he comes and kicks up this climb. So this is about taking it nice and steady, not losing too many people as we make our way in and through. The gang just coming across. You can see they've come over the long bridge. They've dropped down across the past the marina and now starting to make the way up past. You can see that seaplane and the flying boat as they start to make the way up and in towards this climb. And you can just see, if we just take a little bit of a look, just how steep this is. This is the first real challenge. It's the big hill that is going to hurt a few legs on the way through. That's remember, it's about keeping that group together as you come through. We're not going all the way up to the top of the mountain, not all the way right up to the top of there. That would be very mean, and not even I'm that mean. Well, not on a route when we're doing 50k anyway. So we're just going to get our drone camera around the trees and then take a quick check. It gets nice and steep here. We'll get some numbers up on the screen. Neil from Gritty, of course, Gritty sponsoring the last week of the month. This, of course, the Nonnas week on the Donny, Chaingang, and the climb here is tough stuff. It's about keeping those watts per kilo down. Don't burn too much energy on this climb, or you will find yourself wasting a lot of energy that you're going to need later. The numbers start to kick up here. So we'll just sit in with Neil. Remember, the way to stretch your legs, as Jimmy was saying, just drop off the back and chase it back on again. So Neil at the moment just sitting in the middle of the screen here and coming up around that 10% section here. You can just see the volcano in the distance. We come along the shoreline from the volcano in towards the villas, which are on the island to the right as you're looking at your screens, and then coming across the bridges in the background past the flying boat, past the seaplanes, and up on to this climb as we come around this turn. The group holding pretty much together as we take a little bit of a spin with our drone camera to take a little bit of a look behind. Looks like that red beacon just holding the back of that pack together. The gang are not spread out too much, and the key here is going to be about bringing it all back together as you come through. You don't need to chase front, don't waste your energy. Lots more rows to go. Long classic day today, Nonnas week, Milan San Remo week. It is going to be tough stuff out there. And the gang are working well as they come up this climb. So that helicopter shot just showing the riders making the way up across this long ramp to climb. It's got the next hairpin still to come. Those numbers are going to kick up as they come back in. Just drop it back a little bit from the front of the group. We'll drop back to see how our red beacon's just doing. He's just holding the back of that group together, I think, at the moment. So here we go. So the orange banner downtown is our finish for those people who don't know the course inside out. And to be honest, it's not the standard course because we have a Nonnas special here today. The numbers that you need to remember, the banner, the finish banner will be at 47.5. Now, I'm loving the fact that Jimmy's just saying the go will probably go on the Fuego flat somewhere. That doesn't cover much, honest. It doesn't narrow it down, that's for sure, Mr. Birmingham, because it is the Fuego flats currently cover about 25k of the course. So it's a long flat section. Now it looks like just working well. You see the bridge just off to the left hand side of your screen. We just track around. It continues up the bridge, and then you can just see the roadway just heading out and across that long terrace, rolling its way in and round. So it's going to be interesting. The key part, the hilly KOM, and that's definitely where we're going to see a decisive selection being made. But the finale, well, it could come down to those last few metres. Who's got the pace on there? Tom Hepton just dropping to the back of the group, ready to put a little bit of a push on. Now, interesting number of people looking to see what kit Jimmy Allen is rolling tonight. We'll have a little bit of a look. Jimmy, I have to say, has a habit of rolling the same kit no matter what he's on. He's been on that same bike. Now, you could say it is going to be just pure laziness, but I do like the fact, and Nick Dorsey will comment on this, the orange and white of the bike matching the orange and white in that Mondrian-inspired kit. Now, our riders are just making the way up here. The front group are going to be just easing up a little bit here, I think, just to let the gang get back together, chopping, just rolling at the back as well. Legend has it, Jimmy once bumped into Jan on Fuego Flats. That would be this Jan. Yes, maybe it was Fuego Flats, who knows. So, the group rolling nicely up the slope at the moment, and just watch you, Mr. Woodall, as we make our way up. The helicopter just showing just how spread out it is. If you look at the map up on the right-hand side, if we just take that out a moment, you can just see coming up to the junction. Right takes you in towards the jungle. It takes you in towards the Out to Swift, straight up effectively, so the left and the right-hand turn straight up, takes you onto the Epic KOM, and taking the left-hand turn gets us along the bumpy road. That is the Epic KOM bypass. So the group just coming up off the bridge here, and you can see how much height we've already climbed. Currently, Woodall with 107 metres in the bank. Remember, the total elevation for this route, total elevation is 310 to the finish line, 310 metres to the finish line, and that shows you a lot of the climbing, nearly a third of the, well over a third of the climbing already done. So the group at the moment, just at the front of the group, just stretching its way out as we go out past the right-hand turn, here. Just you can just see going up some more. Behind is the entry to the jungle. Up behind the riders, the run up to the KOM, Epic KOM, and this is our wonderful Epic bypass road. It's the Epic KOM bypass road, and this is where that group will need to get itself back together to ease back. So, as the instructions say, everybody back to Jimmy Allen. You can't turn off the yellow beacon's instructions. You can turn off all the rest, but you can't actually turn off the yellow beacons. There's a reason for that, because they are absolutely critical to keeping the ride together. So Jimmy just getting the group together. The sooner we get together, it's quite a long road, this section, as we go on here, and it is rolling, so it should give the group chance to get back together again. Now we're just going to take a little bit of a roll back. It looks like Chris Canham just pushing on here at the moment. Chris just detached from that group on that climb, just out of the saddle, going to give it a bit of beans here. Looks like a little bit of a fractional late jump. It may well be. He's on the same. He's just currently at 5 seconds from Craig Genther. Craig about to hit the boosters, I think, as Canham comes through. Canham making the most of that draft as he comes through. So Canham and Gilmore coming back in, and you can just see a little bit of a issue with the main route here. So just having to dive onto the bypass, just making our way down the side round, so where that rockfall has flattened the road. Snake Pass-esque for all those people. It's not actually quite that bad on Snake Pass at the moment. So the group are back together. You can just see gang just making their way back into one pack once again. So it looks like the front of the group all at 0.7, 1, 1.1, 1.2 as we're seeing, which is great to see. That's what we want to see. Just grabbing the gang back together. Just going to take a little bit of a run through. Purple Ronnie just took to the back here. Now we're going to head down the bridge that you can see heading off to the left of the riders here. So our descent down is a fast one as we come off. We've got a quick descent. And if there are any gaps in the peloton, in the group, as we hit that descent, then the riders who are behind the gap will be in trouble. You have to get right tucked in. Anybody off the back will be in big trouble, because it's a long way across Fuego Flats, and the draft will be critical. So at the moment, you can just see behind, little bit of a fracture. They've got to get tight before they hit that downhill. If they hit that downhill with a gap, then they're going to be in trouble. If they drop the beacon off the back, the red beacon off the back, the riders, any riders dropping the red beacon off the back, they are going to cause major splits in that group. So it is going to be key to sit together. You can just see plenty of wiggles and turns for that group to get itself back together again. So it looks like Mr. Beagley just at the back, just squeezing his way back on to the group. Remember, when we hit that T-junction, if at that turn you're not in the group, you've got to get distanced. It is real simple stuff. These roller coasters, though, great warm-up for the riders, as you can just see our riders just tracking the way around the side. And this is definitely about getting back in now. Who else is going to be in trouble at the back? Well, Phil Ozike, well, we know he's fast. Is he fast enough? He could be in real trouble if he doesn't get back in. Chopping's the same as well. Toppling just looks like he's in. So it looks to me like Ozike has got to really push on here, because we're coming up. That bridge out on the left is the signal for that descent, and you will have a massive job to get back on again. The speed will go incredibly quick. So let's just drop down in low with Phil Ozike from the DCG, from the Sitwell Club. He's got to squeeze on at some pace here. He's got to get back in. So we're just heading along the side of the road here. You can see these twists and turns. The epic Karen bypass is actually one of my favourite bits of road on the whole of Watopia. Real roller coaster twists and turns. Definitely like running alongside the coastline in the Med on the run down into San Remo along the edge of the Rivieras. It really is a very interesting road to follow. It keeps certainly keeps you awake when you're on the turbo trainer. Don't forget, give us a follow. Smart Fix of Pain on Swift. You can do the same on Strava. You never know, you might get a heads up when we're going to go off and do a little bit of a different route. At the moment, though, looks like pretty much everybody together. So, guys, you need to squeeze on now. If you ain't on now, you're going to be in trouble. So, Mr. Jones, time to squeeze. Okay, get on the back, get it tight. This is where the group has got to be together, and look at that. What work has been done by that group here. This is one great tight pack. So before we hit this downhill, looks to me like this group has got itself together here. And look at this. It's one group now going down on to the descent, and this is where the numbers will soon pick up. It soon gets incredibly quick. Watch the right-hand side of your screen here, because this is where it gets fast. Who's going to super tuck this? Any gaps at the back, if you're on the back, you've got to push into the back of the group. If it is more than a few metres, the draft will open up. These riders know they've got to stay in the pack together, and this is where you can see the first split off the back. Anybody who's not tucked in tight is going to be in trouble. They're going to be working much, much harder. Currently, the speed 60 kph with our red beacon, as the red beacon desperate to keep into that group. Now we're just going to take a little bit of a run in. It looks like pretty much everybody in this group. So just running down and through here, and you can just see more at the moment in the danger zone at the back there, just dropping off the back. Could be this confident to push on here. The speed now to 62 kph. The pack rolling down here very, very fast indeed. Let's jump in with more. More could be in big trouble here. Look at the number difference here. 4.7 watts per kilo. Trying to chase that group on 57 kph. Dick Samul, who is in the group in front, doing... just doing a little bit of a kick to get in. We're seeing 2.5s in the group in front, and that is why we put that warning out there. Don't get dropped. Don't get distance. Make sure you're in that group. If you're not, you're going to be in trouble. And you can just see we have got at least one rider in trouble now. So Moore's got to get himself back. He's got to keep pushing on this descent. It's incredibly quick. If you see the speed now, 74 kph, 73 back onto this twisting turn here. The helicopter just keeping a check on these riders as we drop down this slope. Looks like another rider just being distanced here. Beefy and Paul Malin could be in trouble here. Neither of them are little riders. They need to push. They don't squeeze down. Toppling having to push on as well here. So they're coming straight the way down here, very, very fast, and take the right-hand turn. We're now going to go quickly up over the bridge. And this will get us into towards the Sequoia Forest. So that group coming down, almost everybody holding it together. One or two riders in trouble off the back. You've got to pay attention. You've got to stay in there. If you are off the back of that group, you are going to be in a big, big trouble because you cannot get back on easily. If we jump in with Moore, you can see that gap has opened out and Moore is having to put a massive effort on here. Craig Genter's dropped back for him 12 seconds the gap as it came around that corner, and that is totally due to not being in the back of that group. It is absolutely key. You don't let that draft go. So it looks like the lighter riders really finding that tough on the way through. So Moore coming. He's got to get that gap down. He's got that powerhouse that is Craig Genther. And Moore just about to come onto the back wheel. Are we going to see a few people putting some crumbs down behind? Looks like Spencer just dropping back a little bit to help out here. So Spencer from the CNC Repair Factory race team at the back there, just going back. And again, just going to help pick up those pace. Here we go. He's just gone back for Moore. So Moore going, and looks like Spencer's going to help drag him back in. That's the group coming back in together again now. Moore's going to be absolutely wasted after that. Thank you very much to the guys who dropped back there. Our Red Beacon, of course, doing it as his role, but that is brilliant. That is what we want to see, the group coming together and everybody now back together again. We can just about see through the Sequoia Forest just how close it is. And this little climb up is we're going to repeat going the other way. So we're now on this section of road that we're going to do the same out, and then we're going to go around the turn at the turn round the section at the where you go flat far end, and then we're going to come back round. So essentially we've got the tick-tock route, which is out and back on the flat. So we're going to go out and back in again. This climb will be a fast descent as we come back through. Key here, numbers on the screen. It's about watching for that yellow beacon. Jimmy Allen holding that group together, and that is where the riders need to be aware. They need to be attentive. Just like racing in real life, you don't pay attention, you're on the floor. You don't pay attention, you're off the back. Don't pay attention, you can be in trouble. Yellow beacon, bit like your road captain. When you're riding, you need to know exactly where they are. You need to know where your team leader is. That's Jimmy Allen, the man in the yellow beacon, the wolf, the man who is in charge of making sure this group gets there as fast as possible. 34 minutes on the clock, 17k, brand new route for the Donny Chaingang on a Milan San Remo week with Nonnas, making sure everybody is all rolling around together now. You can just see the riders really are pushing on here, and let's see where the gang are. It's definitely way early for the guys. It's not going to happen just yet. So Sales squeezing in. Looks like Sean Ferron just with a bit of a drop out there. So Sean outside the 30-minute cutoff as well. So just waiting to see a message coming from Sean. So Mr. Ferron just distance to the back, looks dead in the water at the moment. So nothing coming from Sean. Just going to do a little bit of a double check on the screen. So nothing coming through on the messages. So Craig Gether just hovering at the back. Nothing from Sean. So I suspect that Jess Cecil and Craig Gether are going to push on here. So this is where the gang needs to blob up. We are on the front. You need to just ease off a touch, guys, because the gang just pretty split up at the moment. You can just see it on the map at the top of the screen. So the red beacon just running into the back of the group. Now, this is where we have that little bit of a squeeze on here. So it looks like Lindley and Forrester just getting a little bit of a kick here. Now, looks like Sean Ferron in there now. We need to regroup guys right now, so you just see the front easing off the pace. And, just seeing regroup, please, guys, at the front. So get off the front, not the watts down. Let's get this group back together again. So Keyworth just easing off a bit too much there. Going to have to put in a big effort just to get back in again. I know he can get back into that group, but you've got to get... got to do a bit of a squeeze here to get back on. I've just seen 6 watts per kilo. He's going to need to do that, but it looks like he's coming back comfortably. I think Craig Geddes are not going to need to go too far back for him because Keyworth is coming at a fair old pace. Now, I think the group are coming back together again. Just keeping off the pace, and you can just see the gang coming back in. The red beacon just bringing up our rider at the rear as we come back past our Vega sort of look-alike here. We're now on to the Fuego flat section. Through the desert we go. Let's pull some distances up at the moment. 18.9k, currently traveling at 42 kph, 168 meters. So over half of the climbing already done. Remember, we are going out. It is a long, long ride. The finish arch coming at 47.5. This is going to be a real tough one today for the group here. But looks like everybody is in together and working well. I am loving Lewis's when's the sprint? Good luck, mate. You don't even going to get one tonight, I don't think. My guess is that this is going to motor, and I think the pack is going to go quick, and then we'll see where Jimmy pulls that pin. When is he going to hit the button? Simon Warren in terrible territory for him, the man on the 100 climbs, so infamous. And Simon, ignore the trolls on social media. Lesson I learned a long time ago. Need to make sure you ignore those. I know Simon very vocal about just how good Snake Pass is to race. Some interesting advice coming out from Cycling UK. Basically stating that the closure is only enforceable for the actual section from farm to farm, at which point there is a bridleway and a footpath you can take to divert out and round it. The footpath, you have to walk your bike on. The bridleway you can ride. Having ridden it, part of it is tarmac. Part of it, though, is pretty rough stuff. So if you've got a cyclocross bike or one of those newfangled cross bikes, you might be all right. Otherwise, you could be walking. Stick a set of flip-flops in or a set of trainers in your back pocket. You can get across. Or, of course, go over from the Glossop side. You can go over, drop back down. The section is around the Allport Castle section, essentially from the base of the entry to Lockerbrook Farm to Allport Castles, those two farm sections. If in doubt, go to the Cycling UK website and it'll tell you the details on there. Now, going back together again. So looks like a few more steady K before we're going to get a little bit of a push on. Let's see if we can get hold of Jimmy Allen. You never know. Jimmy, I think, keeping everybody together. Let's see if he's on the end of the phone line. Hopefully, I think having a relatively stress-free day. Some great regrouping, though.
Hi, mate.
Hi, Jimmy. How are you doing? That was really interesting. Some great group work there. I mean, split a little bit coming up the climber, then got back together, and that descent down. I mean, we said you needed to be together. Everyone was on the wheels, and we still saw Moore get distance off the back there. It was quite scary just how quickly.
Yeah, it's sort of like I call them Zwift quirks. It's I've noticed a few times they've changed this drafting, but if you are like at the back of the group, the draft is not as good as it is when you're in the middle of the group. I shouldn't be saying this because giving tactics away, but yeah, I've noticed that a little bit. You have to work a little bit harder, even though you think you're in the draft, like in the perfect spot. I'm convinced it's just a little bit harder, and that's it's easy to just drop off the back and it's game over, isn't it, on the descent?
It is game over on the descent, and I agree with you. It's definitely easier in a bunch, but it is true if you do ride in a really big bunch on the road, it is almost easier sitting in the middle of the group rather than sitting at the sitting on the edges and sitting at the back, because at the back you just don't get quite that same push on, do you? Once it's a big enough group, but. Definitely much more amplified on Zwift. That definitely pays to push on those descents. And let's face it, you've got to give the big guys a chance somewhere, because those downhills are absolutely key.
That's right, and obviously more danger of being involved in a crash as well if you're at the back.
Well, it looks like Simon Warren's internet is playing up, so he's having to guess the pace along here, which is quite entertaining.
Oh dear.
That's not
right.
That's
okay.
not what you need. I know Simon moving up from the big smoke not all that long ago, and moving up into Sheffield, but looks like he's all back and functioning now. So he's back on unfamiliar territory for him on the flatlands, but the group working together well. So just seen on the screen a message saying a few more steady K, then we'll start to ramp it up. I think this is going to be interesting how you're going to play this. I don't want get any clues though on YouTube, even though we do like to favour everybody who's watching.
I'm just enjoying the thought of Simon suffering on this flat. He'll probably get a nosebleed or something because there's not enough percentages.
There's not, is there? I mean,
or contour lines.
Yeah, plus 1 or minus percent, and at the moment, no contour lines on this. I mean, this is literally the only bit of hill is up around through the lakeside, which is where we've gone through the oasis in the gorge, and then that's about it. So we've got quite a long way to go. Currently at 22k on the clock, so still plenty of distance.
Yeah, 28 left on mine. 28 left. So we've got a few kilometres run out, and yeah, we'll see. We'll just sort of see which way the wind's blowing and get a feel for it. And I don't think I've even made my own mind up yet. We'll just go on feel and see where we are.
That sounds like the best plan. Well, good luck, and hopefully we'll catch up with you after the finish line somewhere.
All right, mate. Catch you later.
So great to hear from Jimmy Allen there. The group still ensconced within the gorge. You can just see the helicopter just struggling to pick up the riders. Now starting to come back out into the desert, and this group still holding together. So it looks like the nobody getting distance off the back of the pack at the moment. So the group are running well at the moment. The helicopter just up above, just with Tom Hager at the moment. We're just dropped back in with the riders. The pack all together at this stage. Certainly looking like everybody sitting in here. And we're now 23k in. So essentially heading into half. It's 47.5. Remember, it's the end of the section. So this is going to be interesting now. Oh, Jimmy Allen's message. Okay, gang, let's go a little faster. Up to 3 watts per kilo. Bum, bum, bum. Right, let's see who can handle it. Who can sit in here? We're on the flatlands, remember. So this is about the draft. This is about staying in the group, not getting distance. We are heading in. If you remember that original map that we saw early on. So let's quickly pull you that details up on the screen. So we're now out on the far right-hand side. We're coming from the lake on the right-hand side. We're coming back towards that turnaround point at the moment. Just in on the side underneath the, provided by section underneath the Swift Hack. So just coming along that section towards the turnaround at the moment. And at the moment, we've got to come all the way back in and then get over the KOM. So still plenty of riding to do. Just riding in with our red beacon at the moment. Just off the bag, the group being lifted up to 3 watts per kilo by Jimmy Allen. That is going to make things very interesting indeed. These riders come in and through. So you can just see Craig get just squeezing onto the back now. And the party just being wound up. Jimmy, I'm just asking for the 3 watts per kilo. And looks like pretty much everybody okay with that. This is where things get a bit interesting. Looks like Tupling just at the back here at 1.9 here. Now we know he's got the pace. He rides for Wahula Cole. Needs to get a squeeze into the back of that group there now. Looks like Reed with a drop out there to me. That's 0 watts per kilo at the moment. He's got to 45-minute marker, and that is a 0 watts. That is game over, I think, there for Reed at this stage. So let's have a little look. It looks like the Tupling's quickly back into that group. Reed definitely dead in the water there. So Stevie G currently sitting in the back of the group. So I think, Craig just at the back there, and we've just seen the rider at the back there just drop straight back out again out of the group's definitely either a drop out or a jump off the bike time done. So this group holding together now 3 watts per kilo. The numbers on the front is starting to pick up the pace here. 40 kph, 41 kph in this group as they come along through in between the gosh, you just see the mountains in the distance over the top of the desert. So the group riding along well. Nothing too drastic at the minute as we go up in the air. The helicopter just checking. Everybody's still riding smoothly here. Jimmy Allen in that yellow beacon up above him, just sitting in the middle of that pack, just keeping off the front, keeping his power dry. The red beacon sweeping at the back, keeping the group together, and a little bit more of an arrowhead than we've seen, and definitely a tail to this bunch at the moment. And to the red beacon at the moment, and that is a clear indicator that things are starting to get a little bit quicker now. Underneath the Fuego Flats rock arch we go. So underneath the rock arch, off to the finish line on the DCG. Not to be today. This is going to be a tough one because we've still got to get all the way back out again. And now we're just seeing people just start to get distanced off the back of this group. Let's drop some stats in here and head back to Craig Getz. It looks like Hayward behind at the moment, just out of contention here in the late join, and no watts per kilo again for him. Now, I've seen a fair few tech issues. We'll go on to the long one and having a mechanically sound bike. So Hayward now just trying to pick it back up again. Could have been a bottle drop or similar, but look how fast that gap has gone out. So Hayward only at 1.2 watts per kilo at the moment. You can just see Craig Getzer just hanging at the back, just waiting to see whether he's needed. It's like Simon Warren. Simon, if you're watching live, you need to pick up. So, yeah, Keith Hayward with tech issues. Don't wait for him. Simon Warren, definitely having tech issues, but just going to have to push on. So, Jimmy Allen, apparently met a celebrity somewhere in Mallorca. Can't imagine who he would be. Now, this gang together. Simon Warren having to put in some big numbers here to get back in. Rowan Dubash just in at the back of the gang. This is our turnaround. This is the loop to run for home. Now at 26.2. That means we've still got 20k to go. It's going to be a long one tonight. Going to be very interesting to see how we get on now. Holmes in here. Canham in here. Matt Gilmore still tucked in here. Dale Williams in this group. So Rodney's in here. Tracy Celia, Terminator 2.0. Jim Flynn in the group. Mr. Beatley in as well. It's like we've got Jeff Cecil still tucked in here. Isaac Oliver. It's like Mason in here. Mason should have a field day on this. Still that last big hill. And even then, the sprint power should see him up and over. So around the turn, we're about to go. So around that turn and heading back. So we've done our loop around the big rock island and now starting to head back in, and looks like a number of people with tech issues just starting to be distanced off the back of that group. So let's have a little bit of a check. Looks like Stevens now. And Davison just being distanced. Davison's got the power to get back on again. I think he'll be very quickly back in. Hayward definitely out of the game. So Davison at the moment needs to squeeze on if he's going to get back into that group. He's going to be a distance, a long way to go yet. Another 20k. And the pace has picked up. It's starting to get quicker. So it looks like Davison's got tech issues now. He came off last week. He came off the turbo trainer, and the bike detached themselves from each other. At the moment, it looks like Liam Davison again having tech issues with the power jumping in and out. That group has gone, and I think Davison's days are over. He's going to have to wait for Hayward. He did a massive chase back last week. So Stevie G currently sitting at the back of the bunch. Stevie just on the back, and one of the quick riders has got to get tucked into that draft. He won't want to get distanced at this stage. The pace has picked up. We are on our run back. Remember, we go all the way back through the Fuego Flats. We then go up over the forest. Now, it looks like Wilson just having to kick back in. He just got dropped off the back of the group. So, if like me and Ride earlier on today, you drop your water bottle or similar and jump off, make sure you don't disturb your turbo train, or even worse, you wouldn't want to do anything daft like losing the power out of it by kicking the power cord out of the back. Never a good news. So, look at this. Wilson now having to push really hard to get back in again. He's definitely quick. So remember, finishing distance 47.5 to the finish line. So less than 20k to the finish line, 2.5k of warm down afterwards. So Wilson trying to chase after Genther. Genther just going back as a breadcrumb once again. Wilson's coming quick. Is he coming quick enough? He's having to work hard here. It looks like he's just going to come on to the wheels against Genther now. Picks up the pace. That's what you want. The red beacon really working hard, dragging our riders back across and back into that group. So great work there by the red beacon. You can just see Wilson just fighting to hang on to the wheels as Genther pulls him back in, and that is great work there by our red beacon. And Craig Genther, a man who's definitely got the power to stay at the front of the group, just bringing those groups in. So just in with Jones at the moment. Jones now having to push those pedals hard just to stay in with the gang. The pace is high up, but he's still all across the road here to say that we're meant to be running at 3 watts per kilo on the front. This group is still holding together. We're not distancing. The red beacon is still. Anyone behind has had tech issues. So Keith Hayward with tech issues, the gang working well. So Jason Stevens is showing a ditto. I'm not surprised. So great to see the gang powering along here. Remember, everyone being fairly circumspect. Still got 20k to go. It looks like Craig just sitting on the back here, working well, just holding this group together. And the gang nicely together. Nobody's going too mad. Craig saying enjoy the finish. Well, yeah. It has a real sting in the tail, and then that run back in is going to be really, really tricky to get right. You can't afford to go too early or too late. So the group all together at the moment, and that looks to me like nobody really distanced. Keith Hayward, having a tech issue, just being dropped. He's 135 down. He could well mop up a number of riders as they come in and through. McDermott tucked in nicely. Stevens in here as well. Malin in. Birmingham's in here as well. And remember, we come in, we go through past the Oasis, we go back past the Vegas lookalike, we then go up through the Sequoias, drop down into the tunnels where we came out, and then we take a right-hand turn. We head back towards downtown. Just as we're coming into downtown, then we go up on to the climb. When we hit the hilly KOM, we then go over the top. We drop down off the KOM. We take a sharp right-hand turn. We go up into the S's, through the bumpy S's, and then that final run down is a downhill run, really similar to coming off the Poggio and running in to the finish of the Milan San Remo here on Nonnas Milan San Remo week, and the team is really looking after all of our riders and the DCG gang when they go down. Don't forget, of course, you want to go support the people who support your sport. Those are the guys. Now, looks like toppling off the back here, and you can just see Craig coming back. So it looks like that bus just about to start to be formed. Toppling being distanced with a just holding the pace. We just see Simon Warren just having very interesting tech issues. Looks like he's getting some off-road practice so that he can go up Slate Pass once again. So Toppling now pushing out some big numbers to try and get back into the group. Again, now Craig's going to have to put another kick in to go with him. So Craig patrolling the back, doing an amazing job at the back with Toppling. This group, though, holding together. And still the pace is pretty quick up at the front here. So just in with Dale Williams at the moment. Can't quite see him because of the screen. So it looks like Toppling just getting into the back of the gang. Just making his way back in with Craig Genther. Indeed, both of them back in. So the group all back together again. With the exception of one tech dropout rider, Hayward. So everybody back together again. Looks like this is going to be very interesting. So Jimmy putting out a little bit of a warning, and that is, don't say you weren't warned, it is going to be very entertaining if he pushes the button soon. We're not yet off the flat. Oh, and he's done it. Wolf has done it. He's done it coming off here. The go has gone. This is a brutal spot to go because coming up here, we are going to see bodies go backwards at a rate of knots. Now, this is where those gaps are really going to open up. Look at the damage being done at the back of the pack as they come in and through. You can just see riders starting to go into ones and twos. The gaps starting to open up at the back. So this is where things get interesting. So Jeff Saysol, it looks like he's got 0 watts per kilo. We're just having a look. Sonia Inslee's got to put the power down now. She's got to get in with this group. The gaps are forming. Now, remember, this is about being able to hold the group to the finish, get a group together super, super quick. You've got to follow that group. Kerrigan here with Sir Rodney and with Bell, Colin Beefy from Cycleways in there. Ainsley, Jim Flynn, looks like Holmes, Genther starting to form that bus. This could be a really good group. So we're going to see that bus formed, I think, up at the front, though. That Comet is still leaving bodies behind it. You can just see behind Bishop. And this is the tail of that Comet. The lead, though, with Jimmy Allen and that leading group. The pressure is on. And it looks to me like Simon run it right up in the mix. Just going to get a little bit of a track back to that very front group. Here we go. So it looks like the head of this, Phil Ozuke, continuing to push on here. Thup doing the same. It looks to me like we've got Wimble in there, Woodall in there, McDermott in there. The Yellow Beacon is in there, of course, as well. Toppling in that group, Spencer. Oh, look at that. That's an interesting move. Going down hard on the outside there, trying to rip it up. It's a long way to go. I don't think you've got a hope in hell of staying away on your own to the finish here. But this he going to do Tadej and go from the gun. It's definitely a brave move. He's going to string this out. But if you sit in the draft, there's a long, long way to go as we go in. I'm loving the man off the front from Lewis. The 14-year-old scored it. So it looks like Anthony Spencer. Let's jump in, the man from CNC Repairs. Let's see if we can get in with him. Here we are. Brave move. Gone from the front. He wants to wind it up, but he's being left out on his own. And you can see behind the pressure in that group. They're looking. They're not letting him go too far. And just holding the pace, but they're all over the road. And you know that Jules music? If you ever wanted it, now is the time. Look at this. Here we go. The bunches quickly are rodded. That was very, very speculative there. Hager comes in over the top and behind Hager. Now all that bunch all massing. So that initial kickoff through. We're coming in towards Vegas. We're going to get to the back of this pack if we can and take a little bit of a look at the groups behind. It's going to be easier said than done. So it looks like Bobby Mason at the moment is about 11 seconds down on that main pack. Behind him, nearest riders, well, it's a group of three. It's going to be Bishop, Cannon and Chappell. Not far behind, it's going to be Thorpe, Ted, along with Andy Scott and Lone Rider. Not all that far away. Catlin in there as well. Genther, Inslee, Beefy, Flynn, Kerrigan, the Red Beacon group. This is great. So this is they're absolutely moving. So Sir Rodney jumping off at 60 minutes. So we got about 45 seconds left. Sir Rodney, Jim Flynn in this group. Good for Sir Rodney to let him know. So the gang just giving it a little bit of a squeeze coming in. This is the Red Beacon, the bus. We knew it was going to get decent numbers. Well, it's got big numbers in here. The Chappell's group currently at 13 seconds, and it's about 45 seconds up to this. This is our leading group at the moment. So the first selection made, and the go was pressed. It shed number of riders. The bus was formed. And it looks to me like, once again, Anthony Spencer, he's not going to let them have this easy. May well be he doesn't want to leave it to the very end, but this group are coming. They're still behind him, so the pace is on. They are looking at it, and it's going to be Phil Ozuke, in fact, off the front of this group. So it looks like Phil not wanting to leave this anything close to sprint. Too big a group for him. Just putting some power down on the way down there. A little bit of a burn up, but we're now coming on to the climb. Now, this is horrible. I'll tell you now, I absolutely detest this section. If you're going to shed me in a race, you're going to do it here. Absolutely hate this. You've got to work hard on this climb. It's a nasty... Oh, and Jimmy Allen has just gone... I've just seen some big numbers coming off Jimmy Allen. He's wanting to put them all in trouble. And Jimmy Allen has gone up the road here. Now, can he bring people through? Because this is the climb up in towards the left turn. And this could be putting people in trouble behind. You could just see Jimmy leading this out. And a few people are going. Isaac Oliver's going to get across here. Andy Jones is going. Kettering is going as well. Farty's gone. Hepton's gone. Smith's gone. It looks like the damage is being done here. They've got a little bit of a gap. You can see behind Hepton. They're all trying to answer this group in front. And this could be a really interesting breakaway. Because remember, they've got to get in through those tunnels. There's a massive group behind. But That gap has opened up now. Can they work hard enough? Oliver just about going to make the catch. I think it's going to split that group into. Let's change that map view over a little bit. You can just see the distance from the red to the yellow, but you can see a gap really is starting to form now. So over the top they go. If you're not in that leading group, you're going to be in trouble. We're just going to take a little bit of a look back. I think it's going to be behind Ian Bale. Is going to be the damage behind Simon Warren. Here we are. This is the halfway split. That leading group has split. Warren and Bale now have to push. Behind you can see that second group starting to form on the descent. And at the moment, Warren and Bale are in no man's land. They've really got to push. There's 3 seconds to the back of that pack. And this could well become the lead group. It's currently 2. It should become 1 if they can keep pushing. Just seeing Donny just easing off. He's got to keep pushing. He's going to be in trouble. It may well be that he's going to wait for the next group. Mantis now is at the back of the group number 1. Behind, the gaps have opened up. Taylor Leach is with him. They can't afford to let those gaps go. They're going on to the bridge. This is the leading group. These are the riders who've made that selection over the top, instigated by the Wolf himself, by Jimmy Allen. Now Lindley on the front, just keeping them all honest, not letting that gap come back. He doesn't want the group behind to close that gap down. Warren and Bale, well, look at the distance they've got now. 10 seconds to the group in front. We're just watching Simon Warren coming in and through, but he's going to be leading. Basically, this is our group 2 on the road. So group 2 just starting to form. You can see that yellow beacon in front, and this is group 2 with Bale, with Warren, with Wimble, with Steve Wilson in here, Scrivens in here, Donahoe's in here, Stevens, Kipling in this, Kieran Kirk in this. This is group number 2. Cokin's in group 2 as well. Then group number 3, well, this is the group with Keyworth, Wolfdale Phil, Tracy Seeley, Terminator 2.0, Langmead and Co. Now I'm going to be group number 3, I think, at the moment. We're just going to double check. We're not just staying in group 2. We're just jumping about it. No, it is still group number 2. We're going to try and go back to group 3. So this is group 3. Seeley, Pritchard, Ronnie, Keyworth, Carl Johnson, you're in group 3. Then Bobby Mason a little bit further back. Looks like Canham, Ted in there. You're going to go a bit further back to get to Beefy. And then Craig Genther with Holmes, Flynn, Tuplin and Co. further down into the tunnels. This is our leading group at the moment down in that tunnel. So getting into the sharp end of the ride here. We're coming back through the tunnels. We're heading basically in. We're going to do a left turn and a right turn, and it'll take us to the... it's coming into the original Jarvis side. We're going to pop out in a moment into the Jarvis tree. Take the right-hand turn as we come in and through Jarvis Tree, and then we're going to take the turn across, so the Jarvis Tree up in front, and we're going to take that right-hand turn here as we come in through the tunnels, and we're going to be heading back underneath as we come through. So underground we go. Now, this route heads north. This group easing back. Dale Williams sat on the back of the group here, not doing too much work. This group have got their work cut out. They've got some very fast riders in here. We are now heading up north. We're going to go in around the right, the long sweeping left and the right. Then it's the ramp up out of the tunnels, a long drag into the KOM. And we can turn up that KOM, and then there's a long descent before the right-hand turn, and then back through the S's. This is going to be very, very tight indeed. So I'm loving the response from Dale Williams. You're welcome to attack. Good luck. I'm not surprised. This is where things are very interesting indeed. Now, the group is currently set. Look at this. 2.4. Where do we go next? Mr. Coyle, you need to be a member of the DCG gang, get your very own map and everything, and get a description as well. So we go in towards downtown, and then we go up the KOM, up the hilly KOM. We drop off the other side, then we turn right and right up there through the S's and into the finish. Up the KOM. Take the left-hand turn up hilly, basically. Chris Ball saying he goes to the fridge for a beer. Don't blame me, mate. I will be. Currently on an hour and 5. We knew it was going to be a long one. It is Milan San Remo week. So this group working well. Going to be interesting. Could be a very difficult run in to the finish. This is going to be a really interesting. Are we going to see another attack on the ramp out? Are we going to see an attack on the drag? Are we going to see an attack on the KOM? This is a big group still coming through here. Now we go up onto the ramp, just riding in with Jimmy on now. Let's see. Chris Gale said it's not going to be him who's on the top of the KOM. Well, it's going to be interesting to see who's got the power and the pace up here. Everybody up in the watts as they come through. Birmingham in here. Looks like Taylor in here. Morn on here. Looks like Leach on the front. Taylor just leading this out at the moment. So this is interesting. Nobody going for it at this point. Nobody wants to blow this group apart. And you know what? I'm just taking a little bit of a look back. You can just see Donahoe in here. We've got Stevens in here. We've got Bale in here. This is group number 2. They're at 6 seconds. 6 seconds. This is doable. Look how close they are. This is the second group on the road. They've got a target in front of them as well. And I think we're going to start to see people coming across. Raccoon could well make the junction here. Here he comes. So this is going to be interesting. Raccoon is trying to go for this to get across that gap. There's 4 seconds, I think, separating 5 seconds separating Group 2 to Group number 1. They're going to be on them, and if there's a good climber in this group who was struggling a little bit on the fast section, Group number 2 have almost caught Group number 1 here. This is going to be very, very tight indeed as they turn on to the top section of the climb. If we go up with a helicopter, you can just see Group 1 take that left-hand turn. Group number 2 are behind. They've seen the danger is coming. Gilmore now on the front starting to wind this up. He's going to try and open this up, but this is going to be tricky. We're just riding it in with Group number 2. Group number 1 in front really are starting to stretch out now. That gap, though, is down to next to nothing. It's 3 seconds to the back of the group. What's it going to be up to the front of the group? Because they are now starting to wind this up. Isaac Oliver on the front here. This is where the lead is going to come from. Got the drone up now. That group number 2 had almost caught them into the KOM. We're on that Swift KOM now. We're in with Isaac Oliver. Over the top they go. You can just see Foreman goes through over the top of them, but they're all massing. Who's got the power up at the right time? Jones goes on the front now, but look at the pace from behind. Oliver's coming through fast. Farty's coming through quickly. And it is going to be Kieran Smith, I think, who's going to be on the front as they come up this steep section. They've come up around those turns, but you can see behind. There's a long train of riders now around that turn. Kieran Smith on the front now. Is he going to get the gap? Is it going to split down and much more? Looks like Mason is done and dusted. Kieran Smith goes over top. Oliver, Jones, Gilmore, Williams, Kettering, Hepton, Beagley, Varty, Lindley in there. Looks like Jimmy Allen currently about 3 seconds down to Yellow Beacon. The gaps are there. They've got to keep this tight as they come up over the top. Now, at the moment, Kieran Smith being overtaken by Gilmore in the yellow. So it's Kieran in the pink. It's going to be now Williams up onto the front. Williams is wanting to shed some more bodies here, I think. Is he going to be the man who's going to take them up over the top? Remember, we've got a big descent off the far side. If they can get a gap now, they should be able to hold it to the finish if they power down that descent, as long as there's not a massive group behind. And it looks fairly even in terms of numbers. We've got 5 riders up the road. We're going to have about 9 riders behind. Oh, this is going to be really close. So 5 riders. Just with a little bit of a gap, they go up over the top. Kieran Smith takes that 140.7 from Williams, who put in a massive effort over the top. Remember, we've got to get down to the finish line down at the far side. This group have the gap. Williams getting overtaken now. He's being picked up by that Yellow Beacon group. 4 riders on the front. This is where things get interesting. This long descent. So Smith, Williams, Gilmore, Jones, Oliver, Birmingham, Beagley, Jimmy Allen in that order for the KOM. Now they've got 7 seconds to Varty's group. This is group number 2 on the road. Hepton now chasing our leaders. Can the leaders hold themselves clear? Are they going to put that effort in? It's showing 6 seconds on our time gap. They're going to drop off the side of the KOM. They go down to Wells. They go over the first bridge. They do a sharp right over the next bridge, and then they're into the S's. And this group behind are coming back in. Remember, we've got a big kick off bridge number 2. And at the moment, I think the pressure's gone out of this group. Varty is putting in an effort to stay with them, and they're going to come back together again here. Here we go. So we're seeing a reforming of this group. We're going to try and get a decent shot of them by spinning this camera around at the moment. So around that turn we go. This is your descent down. This is that leading group. It's reabsorbed everybody in. Williams is still in this group. He's second from last in the line. Lindley pushes on here, leaving Coyle exposed. So Lindley into that super tuck, more than 3% descent. You've also got to be really kicking now. Little riser on this section before a descent. It's going to allow this group behind to come back. So Foreman, Coyle, Williams coming back together. Kettering gets back into the pack as well. Mark Kettering in here. Varty pushes again as we see Foreman come over the top. This is your leading group, so that climb will have done damage to people's legs. But the gap has opened to group number 2 behind. Just taking a look, it's about 30 seconds now between group 1 and group number 2 on the road. So the winner is going to come from this group. We're just on our way down. This descent is a really fast run down here. So they come past the cut across. They're going to keep on going. They've still got another descent. There's a really steep section here. It's about 15% on the inside of the turn. They're on the outside, so it shouldn't go quite that steep. Still fast, still plenty of descending to do. This group still together as they come around this turn. 8% on the outside of the bend, 15 on the inside. They're on the downhill. They've got a 30-second lead back to group number 2. Group number 2, I think, is going to be this group with Rob Taylor here. And you can just see toppling in here as well. This is your second group. It's 5 riders on the road. Then it's going to be Leach along with Runnett, Warren and Pearson, Kipling and co. behind, just rolling our way back through this group at the moment. But the leading group are well onto the descent, and you can just see only a couple of 100k to the top for our Rare Beacon, I think, at the moment. However, the lead group all together here. They come over bridge number 1. We're in with the Wolf, Jimmy Allen, as they come down this straight on Nonnas Milan San Remo week. And it's a really cracker of a course. It's going to be a long one today. We know this is going to be a long ride. We knew Milan San Remo week needed something special, and it's got it with one of the longest chain gangs we've had for a while, befitting of a monument. And this route definitely quite monumental. We might not be doing the full Gran Fondo route, but we're doing more than enough. So taking that right hand turn, next big kicker coming up on the climb. We're going to be making our way onto it very shortly indeed. We're going to be heading up on towards the section of the climb. We're just in with our leaders at the moment. This is the lead group. Jimmy Allen has gone again. So this is the big kick coming out from the bridge. Jimmy Allen has gone hard. We're in with Kieran Smith in the pink. He's not the man who's leading this ascent up the hill, though. Foreman, Hepton, all in this mix. Gilmore in the mix as well. Are they going to be able to shed anybody on the way through here? It's so evenly matched on the way around the top. Nobody's able to break clear going over the top. And they're going to have to go soon if they want to get this gap. They're going to end up leaving this to a sprint if they're not careful. And that is played into the hands of riders like Kieran Smith here, who's got the big kick. Has he got it left? Has Gilmore got anything left? Gilmore, of course, one of our real fast finishers. Hepton's quick, but they've got to be fast in that final kicker. Coyle just puts out 10 watts per kilo. This roller coaster road really a test. It's very hard to get into a good rhythm here, but you can make people suffer. And right on the back of this group, Dale Williams holding his powder dry, I think, at the moment. Has he got anything left after that? Really a tough finish into the ride. So the helicopter just struggling to track our riders. We're up over the top of them at the moment now. Kettering moves up to the top, but Coyle has gone hard. He's got the gap at the moment. Has he got enough of a gap? It's going in behind the hillside here. Again, that's a big kick here by Coyle. He's starting to do some damage behind. But they're all responding. Remember, we're going to be heading down in towards downtown. Nobody's going to be doing an Ekimov at the moment and going with a K to go, because we are coming into that last kilometre or so down into the finish. And Jimmy Allen's gone again. The beacon has gone here. He's put down another attack here. He saved the aero as well. That is what we want to see. He's put the aero in. Has he got the gap? Can he hold them off? He's got to make it to that downtown gantry. Jimmy Allen, the yellow beacon, he's ripping this up at the front. Jones is trying to come behind him. Remember, we've got to get down. We've got to get round these turns. Jimmy Allen with that slight gap now. Everybody behind looking at each other. Nobody's really responding in that group. The only one is Jones. Now we're starting to see numbers. Lindley starts to wind this up, so it's Lindley winding it up. Kieran Smith is coming hard behind him. This is going to come down to the line. Lindley's gone hard. Young Tom Lindley wants to take this home. 300 metres to go. Gilmore and Smith are going to be fighting this out between them. Here they come. It's between Gilmore and Smith. They're going to come into the line. Kieran Smith is going to take this from Gilmore. Lindley in second place, Birmingham. Then it's going to be Isaac Oliver and Jones, Varty, Kettering, Tom Hepton through Beagley, through Formers, through Coyle, through Jimmy Allen, just about in one pace. Dale Williams, distance on that way through. What an outstanding ride. Good ride there by all of our finishers. Tom Lindley put it in there, just rolled in on those last few metres. That was, I'll use Lawrence Cole's words, epic. Love it. 45K, 47K on the way into the finish to get through. Now, this is group number 2. Wow, what a finish. Absolutely love that route. Glad I'm not riding it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think I'd have wanted to be in at the finish. Now, Neil's going to lead this out as they come in. They can see it's 200 metres to go. Right on his heels, though, is Taylor. Taylor's always a fast finisher. Has he got the power on him? Oliver's coming as well now. Oliver kicks up some big numbers. Sam Emsley's going to come over the top. But Oliver is coming quick. Who's going to get this? Oh, it's Oliver. Gets it just from Sam Emsley. Then it's Neil, being followed by Taylor, and then Tupling. Great riding by them on the way through. Now, next group coming up towards the line here. Who's going to take this as they come in towards the line? It's going to be Martin and Leach. Oh, it's so close. Leach from Martin. I'll let you guys play that back. Warren comes through. Donahoe in through the line. Dubash comes through. Gale comes through. Bale, Malin as well. Kipling's in and through the line. That was something else again. Now, we're just going to see our next group. I think Bannister is going to be our next finisher. Goes in and through. What a finish. That is so tough, that route. Stevens on his way down here. Who's going to get it out of this group? I'm not sure who my money's on out of this little lot. There's some very fast finishers in here. Haggers quick. Stevens has got a kick on him as well. Wilson has been racing and has been quick. Is it going to be Wilson's day? Who's going to take this out? So Stevens puts in the kick. Raccoon is on the front there. Watson puts in the power. He's going to have this, I think. He's got the numbers, so it should be Raccoon, but they're coming on his heels quickly. Oh, it's going to be close. Just holds off Forrester. That is what you call timing. As they come in and through the line behind then, well, it looks like we're going to have Tracy Seeley Terminator 2.0 in here. And this is the gang coming in behind. So it is going to be between. The fight is on at the front here. You can just see. It's Stelton Man leading this out. Who's got the kick behind? Nadoni chasing Finney. Nadoni goes over the top. It's going to be Nadoni goes through. Oh, and I think Seeley just rolling more. And Langme Finney going through. Samuel goes through behind him. Then it is going to be Carl Johnson. Carl's got a little bit of a gap here. It's Keyworth and Wharfdale Phil. We'll bring through about the next 4 or 5 riders as we see Carl coming into the line. Another big kick here by Carl Johnson, just coming in through the finish. A real fast ride today and a tough course. Don't forget, if you've been riding, make sure you get those comments up on the Facebook pages. Did you like the route? Did you hate the route? And you want to do it again? Do you don't want to do it again? Let us know for next season when we're back here now. Keyworth and Wharfdale Phil. It's Keyworth in the blue, but Wharfdale Phil's going to get this. Look at that massive kick from him as he comes in through the line behind. Then it's going to be Pritchard coming through. Well, Jimmy Allen must have some kind of lungs left, as we are going to jump in with our next finisher shirt. In theory, is going to be Chapel, which means, subject to the wonders of modern telepathy, we are going to get the old elastic trickery into gear. Hopefully, on the end of the phone line will be Jimmy Allen. Jimmy, how are you?
Great, mate. That was brilliant, as expected, really. All worked out as we planned, or as you planned at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure that planned, but yeah, it was really interesting. I thought we might get that leading group try and go for it off the top of the KOM, but they didn't do it. They just waited a little bit for the group to come back together, but then Tom Lindley with that kick. I mean, I think Kieran and Matt Gilmore really had to dig something out there to go past him in that finale.
Yeah, it's a good little tear up between those three, isn't it? Every week. So yeah, from Tom getting closer and closer. Well, maybe not as close as last week, but yeah, it's still in the mix. And yeah, I said last week, if you're going to beat those two, you've got to get absolutely perfect. And you know, if it's anything other, then they're going to come past you. But great effort, and that's it, over the top. That's the beauty of it, though, because it's like, you know, it's like a proper race, if you like, a proper real life race. You know, where people are tacking, sitting up, and you know, when you get one person going off the front at 6-7 watts per kilo for like 10 minutes, then you know that's a bit crazy. But I think everybody's sort of riding a bit smarter, and it makes it enjoyable. It makes it even better.
Definitely, and so good to see I mean, we've seen groups after groups after groups come in and sprinting it out for the finish. And our Red Beacon, the Red Beacon is not all that far behind everybody. Just heading in here, we got Holmes, I think Craig Genther onto the S's, and Jim Flynn just on the climb up out the bridge. So our riders not very far behind at all on the way in to the finish. On such a long route, I mean, a bit of a monster, long way, I think, but with the Donny Chaingang working together well, it kept it simple and a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on 1 hour 22 now, so yeah, a little bit longer, but not too major, is it? It's, I think it's just right, really, on a Tuesday. You know, you're getting a good workout, and I think we've had something like maybe 20-25 minute tear up at the end, something like that. Which again, quality workout, and so yeah, obviously Thursday on the horizon now. I called you something naughty early on, didn't I? When I saw.
It's probably a good job we weren't on air having our pre-ride chat. Yeah, it's a bit of a flip round in some ways, but Milan San Remo.
Yeah,
easy bit
well,
at the start,
got to be done, hasn't it?
Harder bit at the back.
Yeah.
And if you look at the profile of the route, I think my aim was with picking this route that we had something that really did resemble the profile. If you put the two profiles together of triple loops and you put the profile of Milan San Remo, they're very, very similar indeed. Just scale. It's not 300k long. It's a little bit shorter, and hopefully we're going to get all that condensed down. I mean, the total distance is going to be, 44k, but some big old runs in through the finish to be had there, because it's a very fast finish down into London with that little kicker of the escalators to finish. Going to be tough stuff. Definitely.
Yeah, that's as good. I mean, like I say, I think it's a really, really clever route, because, like, so what's it goes up? What is it? Box Hill, is it? The last climb.
The last big climb is Box Hill. So the climb in the middle of the route. So basically, it's flat out through London. Then we go onto Leith Hill. We've got that massive long drag up Leith Hill to do, and then when we've done Leith Hill, we're going to go up over the top of Leith Hill, and then we're going to be coming in to the bottom of Box by going right the way around that Richmond Park section, which is really bumpy. So that's going to be very interesting. So I'm sure you're going to be working out where you're going to be thinking about putting that go in. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where you do that. I'm going to leave that in your more than capable hands, Jimmy, and got to say a massive thank you for jumping in and helping for studying in for us. It's not an easy job, but definitely great fun tonight.
Pleasure as always, mate, and thanks for your help as always. Yeah, great stuff. Looking forward to Thursday.
Cheers, mate. So big thank you to Craig Genther as well. Craig just coming through to finish that warm down on that run in towards that 50k mark. Holmes coming through doing a great ride from Bolsover and District, and I think Jim is on his run along the section down into the finish. So Jim Flynn, another good ride from Jim once again. And looks like all of our riders are going to be home in sub an hour and a half, which is great to see. Another fast night on the Donny Chaingang here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. And don't forget, Milan San Remo week, all part of the Nonnas Milan San Remo week, continues on Thursday. We will be in London for Triple Loops. I've got a great course, really looking forward to that, as you'll have heard with Jimmy. Much hillier though, 569 metres to get to the finish line. So the finish line coming at 41.4k. So going to be shorter, going to be quicker, going to be very, very tough. We'll see how our riders get on with that as they head out and round London. Jim Flynn coming in and through the line. So great to see our riders done and dusted just about. And that means that all that remains is for me to say thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you support the people who support you. Support you soon down the bottom. Halo, OTE, Velo Skin, the team at 1080 Velo Viewer, as well as the Grand Tour Coffee. Finished my quadruple espresso. Thank you very much, Ben. And of course, the team at Gritty, who are looking after our riders in the DCG gang at the end of the month. We're back on Thursday for the next of our Nonnas Milan San Remo week with another giveaway of another £75 voucher for people to go out and enjoy themselves at Nonnas or to get something delivered online. Don't forget to go on to the nonnas.co.uk website, check them out, and don't forget, we'll be back Thursday, the next Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel.